Ryder.
Sarah Brown.
Kayla West.
Caitlin Morgan.
Sally Ryder.
Bob Kelly.
Daniel Ching.
Gabriel Martin. Dominic Metzler.
This is V.
Miss Karen Urrutia Mickler.
Throughout my high school years, there's always been stereotypes said that girls are not smart.
That just because I'm Asian, even though what little I am, that I'm supposed to be the smartest kid in my grade.
That I've received from society that's affected me is that because I'm short, I'm supposed to be irresponsible and immature, but that's nowhere near true.
So I think there's a lot of different kinds of messages I've gotten about being female, being a woman, being a professional, expectations, but I think the one I want to talk about is, I guess, about ethnicity or race type of stuff. So let's see. So I'm Colombian, which is from South America, and I came when I was really little, and so my parents, when my mom came, she didn't really know any English at all, and so I grew up. Where I grew up, I was we were like the only family that were Spanish speaking, and everybody else spoke English and didn't look like my parents. Let's say didn't look like us. And so I feel like growing up there was kind of embarrassment around that. Like I didn't want people to kind of know about that, or was embarrassed to bring people home to see my parents because we were different from everybody else. And so that kind of wasn't okay, the fact of being different from other people. They like other kids would kind of make fun of the fact they couldn't understand them, or they would there'd be jokes, at least back then, about being Colombian, oh, you're Colombian, can we roll you up and smoke you, kind of stuff like that, and so there was just all this negative stuff coming about that, and I took that in as it wasn't okay to be who I was, or it wasn't okay to be proud of who I was. One of the lessons that I've received from society was that it wasn't really okay to express a range of emotions. Particularly in my family, one of the messages I learned very early on was that you were only really allowed to be happy, and if you were upset, angry, or sad, you weren't allowed to express it at all. So you learned how to hide your emotions, or you learned how to numb yourself to emotions. So that was really frustrating growing up because I wasn't allowed to be angry or sad. It was knock it off and move on, or sweep things under the rug.
Society has sent me many messages throughout my life. Some of the most powerful were when I was deciding what career I wanted to pursue, specifically what major I wanted to take in college. And I set off to be a theater major, and I received a lot of messages from society, from friends and family regarding their thoughts on the matter. Many who said that that wasn't the best option, that I would be hungry all the time, or, oh, so you're going to be a waitress. And at times it was kind of disheartening to feel that my family members or friends didn't support me in that, or maybe didn't understand why I wanted to pursue those dreams. But I kept going despite their criticisms, and I'm really glad that I did.
There you go.
Action. So, what messages have you received from society?
Well, when I was younger, I had skipped a grade, and so I was the youngest in my class. As a freshman, I was 13 and wasn't going to turn 14 until April. So I was the youngest, but I was the tallest and the biggest. I was an athlete, and so I had been weight training since 10 years old. And so I was the tallest, I was the biggest, everything. And all the kids were telling me I was an Amazon. They were calling me Amazon from across the quad. And when you look at all of the magazines, the billboards, everything, women are supposed to be these little tiny sticks, and I wasn't. And so not only was I getting it from media, I was getting it from my peers. And so that did a lot to me.
One of the biggest messages I've received from society is about my age. Not only because I am very young, but also because I look very young. There's kind of this belief and this pressure that I'm somehow not great at what I do just because of my age.
Yeah, it wasn't, I didn't realize how negative it was until once I moved out. I moved out my senior year in high school with my best friend because it got so negative, and so I learned, like, actually it is okay to be angry. There's a healthy way to express anger, and it's very okay to be sad. There are numerous healthy ways to express that. And it wasn't until I met my husband that he would ask me, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm fine. He's like, you're lying to me. I know you're not fine. And when I heard it that way, like, you're lying to me, that's when I was like, oh no, you're right, that's not okay.
Oh, please.
Initially, it affected me in a negative way. When I first started teaching, I tried to look older than I was. I wouldn't wear my glasses, and I dressed super professional with like pencil skirts and stuff. But as I've gotten more into teaching, I've just realized that I'm more confident just being myself and accepting that I just look young and people just need to learn to deal with it.
It's probably affected me a little bit more on the positive side, not even negatively, because I've probably worked harder because of it, even though I still procrastinate a lot.
It's definitely affected me in a negative way because it makes me feel like I'm less of a person and that I should be acting younger, and I actually am. This is a positive effect on me because it's really pushed me to wanting to be better, and for my junior year I've been taking 2 AP classes, and this stereotype has really wanted me to be better.
You're telling me that it affected you really badly then?
Yeah, it did. And what happens is, and we do this as human beings, when somebody tells you something like that, you know, and you see it in print or whatever, you tend to internalize it and you turn it into an I am statement. So they're telling me you're an Amazon, you're odd, you're abnormal. So then in my head, I turn it into this self-talk of I'm an Amazon, I'm abnormal, I'm odd, I'm a freak. And that's what goes on in my head. And everybody does it. And it's that self-talk that can just send you on a downward spiral.
I would say that it is important to pursue your goals, follow your dreams, and follow your passions despite what other people might say about them. If you're doing something that makes you happy and that is a dream for you and that you think you can use to make a difference in the world, then go for it and give it all you got.
The biggest piece of advice I would give is not to give into that pressure, because I did that, and for the first 2 years of teaching I felt super uncomfortable and I just didn't really feel like myself in my own skin, and I don't know, I feel much better now that I can just be myself and people can just accept the fact that I'm young and I am good at what I do.
My advice for all the students watching this video is really not paying attention to these stereotypes and really wanting to be yourself and do whatever makes you happy.
I would say at a young age, set some goals about what you want to accomplish in your life that are unrelated to just accumulation of money. So as you're getting out of high school, or even when you're in high school, set some goals of what's important to you in life. What do you want to do? And if you value those things, you need to pursue those.
What you're getting, if you're getting negative input from outside about who you are, that doesn't matter. You know, what other people say about who you are, whether it's about how you look, whether it's about your family, whether it's about being male or female, don't let that decide how you feel about yourself.
To be aware of the different social pressures that are on everybody. Some of them are definitely positive. The expectations are high, then it's going to lift you up. If the expectations are low or negative, then they're going to pull you down or in a way that you don't want to go. And if you're aware of them, then you can choose your friends differently. You can choose how you approach a different class, and basically do what's best for you as opposed to what's good for the school. I mean, you know, we were talking in psychology, the idea of a social norm. You know, if your friends drink and do drugs and don't get good grades, then you're more likely to drink, do drugs, and get bad grades. If your friends are getting good grades and doing the right thing and moving themselves forward, then you're much more likely to do that as well.
Don't let what other people think of you. Just decide who you're going to be. and be yourself.
You know, there's a book that I read by Don Miguel Ruiz called The Four Agreements. And the first one is be impeccable with your word. So that means if you say you're going to be somewhere at 8:30, be there at 8:29. Because once you don't follow through with your word, your integrity is gone, and therefore people don't trust you. That's the first thing. The second thing is don't take anything personally. Just like what I was saying about, you know, that talk, people telling me what they thought I was. When people tell you things like that, it's all about them. They just want to feel better about themselves. So they put you down to make themselves feel better. So don't take anything personally. The third thing is don't make assumptions. Can't assume anything about anybody because we don't know their true backstories. You know, everybody's got a backstory, and we don't know what it is. And then the fourth thing is always do your best. And if you do those four things, you'll make it. And I would say be your unique self. Doesn't matter. Be who you are.
I'd advise them to just don't listen to anyone and just pay attention to yourself, and you know how you're supposed to act and you know who you are, so listen to yourself and kind of just block out the haters.
All right, thank you. Hi, can you state your name? My name is David Sanchez. I'm going to be asking you a series of questions. The first question, what is a message you've received from society? Some of the messages I've received from society is that since I'm Mexican, most people look at me like I'm a thief, like I'm a robber, that I'm just not supposed to be somewhere. And especially being here at Minarets, it's a completely different environment, being around people of different ethnicities and being very little of me. And would you say this affects you in a positive or a negative way? Taking a look at this, I'd say it affects me in a negative way, mainly because whenever someone looks at me, I can't go somewhere without someone thinking, oh, he's gonna rob from me, or oh, he's lying to me all the time or something, or you know, just that fact of someone's always constantly judging me kind of, you know, affects me in a negative way. It like makes me feel, it shrinks me down. And what is some advice that you would give to the students watching this video? I would just have to say, be who you are, and to never, ever let someone change who you are.